All right.
Right?
Funny face? Hey, everybody. Got a video I wanted to share with you today. Last Monday, me and Dan sat down on Before the Echo and got into some really good information.
Subscribe for Huck videos.
And subscribe to Huck's videos. Yep. If you want to subscribe to Before the Echo, you can just click on the link right here. We sat down and we talked about how to build confidence in deer hunting, and I've been getting a lot of questions lately about.
Show.
I've been having, people have been having, struggles, whether it be shooting your bow or,
Show.
shooting your bow, or maybe just having a string of bad luck, getting the arrow off on a deer, and they don't feel like their confidence is very high. So, hey, be quiet for a second, okay? And me and Dan got into talking about that a little bit, and I thought it'd be cool to share with the Hunting Beast community.
Then playing.
Then we'll go play. Yep. If you're wondering what it's like to be a YouTuber slash father slash two other businesses I run, this is usually what it's like. Babysitting. What else are we doing there today?
Hey.
What?
And potty train.
And potty training. Yep. Lots of potty training. You got it down pretty good now, don't you?
And work.
Yep. And we work. Work a lot.
Does go to Esther's.
We go to Lester sometimes. Yep. Our neighbor.
Then we get in trouble.
You get in trouble?
Lots of times.
Lots of times. Yep. Sometimes you do.
Merry Christmas!
Yeah, Merry Christmas. I hope everybody has a good time. Hope you enjoy this video and get something out of it. And we'll see you guys on the next episode. I was going to ask you, Dan, I wrote down just some points here, but in your mind, like, what's a good way for someone that either is new to hunting or has had a bad streak to build some confidence in their skills as a deer hunter?
Confidence is a funny thing. It's a hard thing to work on for a guy personally, because in order to get good at killing big bucks, you need confidence. And how do you get that confidence? You go out and kill big bucks. So it's kind of a catch-22, But some of the things you can do that help is practice with your bow so you're confident with it, so that you believe in yourself, that you believe if a deer comes within 40 yards of you, it's dead. You got to get that kind of cocky, arrogant belief. And another thing is, I see a lot of people nowadays. It wasn't really a problem when I grew up, but nowadays a lot of people grow up or start out. I shouldn't say grow up, because a lot of guys start out later in life, but they start out wanting to be trophy hunters, which is nothing wrong with that. I mean, everybody dreams of shooting big bucks, but if you set your goals real lofty and you don't learn how to kill deer, you're going to struggle. You're not going to know how to draw, when to draw. You're not going to know, you're going to hit deer bad and stuff. I would say the time to learn how to shoot a big buck is not when there's a big buck standing in front of you. So to build confidence, I think to start out by killing deer, into growing as a hunter, grow into a trophy hunter, rather than trying to be one instantly. I have a friend who dreamed of shooting a Boone and Crockett, and I think he went 16 years without shooting a deer. What do you think happened when that big buck walked in?
Yeah, he probably lost his mind or didn't know what to do.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he failed miserably, and I think it's because he's not shooting deer. I mean, it's not something he's accustomed to. It'd be like wanting to be a race car driver, but you're not going to drive until they let you in NASCAR.
Yeah,
if they ever do, which they're probably not, because you got no experience. But if they ever do, you're going to fail miserably because you've never driven in there, even if you know how the car works.
Yeah.
You need to kill some deer to get good at killing deer, basically. I think those are some of your best points for confidence, building confidence.
Yeah, that was my number one, is just shoot more deer. Whether that be if you need some meat for the freezer, shoot some does, and yeah, if you want to, I don't know how big of turkey hunters people are, but try to shoot a turkey with a bow out of a blind or something like that. If you're trying to kill a deer with a bow, and yeah, and then just practicing with a bow is super important. Something else that I have out behind my house, I got a target, 3D target. I made it real easy where I can hang my bow on my back by my back door, and I can just walk out and shoot a few arrows into my target every day. Just try to make it easier on yourself to, if you have to get in your barn and pull down your target and then go set it out. And then, a lot of times you're not going to take the time to shoot every day or whatever, every couple of days. But I think like, that's one type of confidence, is like being confident in, I'm going to get a shot off or put a good shot on a buck when the time arises. But like to actually be confident in, like your sets, like I'm confident this set I'm going to shoot one. You got any tips for that kind of feeling for guys?
Well, that's a hard one. I think I have to believe in my spots.
Yeah,
that's the thing with me personally, and I think that's part of my success. But I have to have confidence in my spots. If I don't have confidence in a spot, I won't even hunt her. Just period. I'm not hunting her. I will keep walking until I find a spot that I am confident in. But I get that confidence by really carefully picking out the tree I'm going to sit in, really thinking about it, really, dialing down the area from a distance and making sure I get in the right spot. I mean, if you get into a tree that like the wind's a little off and stuff, and then you're going to be playing this fight and this war against this deer, and you're going to lose, You got to have the wind right. You got to have the thermals right. You got to think about what are the thermals going to do if the wind drops. But, once you learn how to pick those trees like that, your confidence is going to go up. But again, I mean, until you see some stuff work, like it's hard to tell somebody to be confident. I mean, when you go out there, you're questioning your abilities. Even after a guy kills a few bucks, he's still questioning whether or not, there was an accident, it was a fluke, it isn't until you're doing it on a consistent basis that you really believe in yourself. And even then, even myself, sometimes I look back and it's hard for me to believe what I've accomplished. It just doesn't even seem like it's happened,
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Something else I think people really struggle with is like, people run out of spots real quick too. I think a lot of people, they have like just a handful of spots that they really like, and a handful is really not enough for deer season, especially when you get later in the year, or if you're hunting more often and this and that. So I have down here, if you
same stands over and over again, and they kill the spots and kill their hunting and kill their confidence.
And all of a sudden those 5 same trees you always sit, or whatever it is, areas, you start not seeing deer later on in the year because you've hunted them so much. And I think if you can, like this time of year or whatever, from now till April, try to get out there and like find 5 more spots for next year. So then you got 10 spots instead of just 5.
Mm-hmm.
And now you got some more options to jump around and find some confidence in what you're doing.
Not only that, but you should be good at, like when you hear about a deer, or you see a deer, or you see sign, you should be able to just jump on it and not worry about spots, and hunt more deer than spots.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I mean, though, just having more areas to go find those deer, I guess. I think that's a big one. I think people kind of probably need to put more time in from now until April. Then you almost do.
I can tell you, for me, I see a dramatic increase in how I do, how many big bucks I see, how many opportunities I get, based on how much I scout. So fresh scouting, fresh spots, learning stuff, have more options, always does me better. I would rather have certain spots that there's spots I didn't get to than not enough.
Yep. And I think that even correlates, like more scouting. You kind of alluded to it when you said learning, but like if you do more scouting now, you're going to get better at when you go out of state. If you go somewhere for a long weekend, and you're going to get better whenever you have to jump into some place new during season and all that kind of stuff.
That all
That's all.
builds with the confidence too, because every time you hunt someplace new, you learn how to hunt someplace new.
Yep.
Every time you scout something and you learn how deer move through there, where they bed, and how they maneuver, you learn something new. And then when you end up in those spots like you're alluding to, you're like, oh wait, I've been in a spot like this. The deer are probably going to come from there.
Yeah. Yep. That's so true. Like you just learn different patterns instead of, not instead of, but judging by what you've experienced from scouting or hunting different spots. So that was my second point I had written down, was more scouting.
One of my points would be to watch who you hang with too, because I think part of confidence is hanging with confident people and hunting with people who are, have a positive mind frame. If you hang with negative people, you're never going to believe in yourself, and you're always going to be, upset about how things are going. Anybody who's hunted with lots of people has ran across people that, like, when it's sunny, it's too hot. When it's raining, it's like miserable. It's always nasty. There's always some sort of pain in the butt for the guy, and he's always got a pessimistic way about him, and he's always going to never build you up. He's always going to tell you how you're going to fail. That might not sound like that's going to affect you, but it does.
Oh yeah.
And, negative people, having them around all the time is just it's like a cancer.
Oh, you're so right. And it's almost like there's certain guys that they just are like that almost, so they have an excuse every time they go out if they don't do well. It's just like, and there's 100 different excuses for deer hunters. Like you said, it's too hot, it's too cold, it's too windy. The moon's wrong. The barometric pressure is too low, or just like golly.
When you think about that, now both me and you are the opposite. I've been around you enough to know that when it's raining, we're looking at like, well, the deer should move in this, or they should be doing this, or it's snowing and it's cold, they're going to be in the pines. We're always looking for something. Well, it's the wind chill is like 10 below. Oh well, that leeward hill shouldn't have any wind. All the deer would go there. We're always looking at the positive out of the negative. And it's really hot. I'm hunting a water hole where other people are being, I can remember a hunt when I shot a big 14-pointer on a water hole. Probably a lot of people remember that hunt because it was a dramatic. When I shot that deer, it jumped way up in the air and landed in the middle of that water hole.
Yeah.
But that hunt, the guys I was hunting with all went home. It was too hot to hunt. It was 85. Deer don't move in that. I'm like, well, I'll hunt a water hole. They'll probably come to a water hole. I killed that buck. One of my best bucks. It's because I believed in what I was doing, and I always look for the positives.
Yeah. Yeah. I always get in my mind, like those deer are doing something right now. They got to be doing something, and being out there is half the battle of getting one.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's spots I have where, like, when it rains, it's like, all right, it's raining. Now I can get to this spot without leaves crunching.
Yep.
There's spots where, man, if I get into where I can kill him, where he moves in daylight, he's going to see me. Oh, wait, look, there's going to be a 20-mile-an-hour wind tomorrow. There's going to be stuff blowing around. If I go slow, he ain't going to see me because of all the stuff moving. Mm-hmm. I'm looking for those positives out of the negatives that other people aren't looking for.
Yep. Yeah, that's a great point. And I had another one on here, and I actually heard this one. I heard Mark Jury say it actually, and before, like, everybody kind of rolls their eyes, it's like that guy's actually a really good person to listen to when it comes to advice, because he does, like, whether it's on a game or a managed property or not, like, he has a lot of giant deer he pulls back on and shoots. It's all, it's probably the same feeling for him. It's that we all have, and he's good at killing them. And he was on a podcast, I think, but he said that he got this advice from an MLB pitcher. Whenever they're under pressure, what do they do? And their advice to him was to try to slow the game down, to where you try to slow your mind down, slow what's happening down, be a little more methodical, and make a conscious decision to just make everything a little bit slower when you're doing things. And so he said it really helps him to think about that whenever he's like freaking out. It's just like slow down, slow the game down. So
I do something similar like that when I got to get real close to deer and I got to do it sly and quiet.
Yep.
I will, because I work a very fast paced job. I got a fast paced life. I'm always rushing. And I get out to the woods and I'm usually, I'm rushing out of work to get out there to get on time to get hunting and all that kind of crap. And I'll race out there. And when I get to within like 100 yards or 50 yards, whatever it needs to be, where I know it's the time when I have to slow down, I don't just try and slow down because I can't do it. I find myself keep speeding up because I'm already in that fast mode. And maybe it's, maybe this isn't everybody, but it is me, and it's my. So there's probably some people that are like me. I literally, when I get to that mode, I stop and I'll just sit down for a little bit on a stump or something and just settle down and get into slow mode by sitting there. And then I can get up and go slow. Otherwise, I just keep trying to race too much. Just got to settle down.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's hard. It is hard to do. I mean, sometimes you don't, sometimes when a deer's coming in, it's like, sometimes you're just a wreck, it doesn't work out, it's like, God, it happens to all of us.
Today, and I'm usually a good example. Today I wasn't. Today I got out of work a little later than I wanted to. I raced home and some things were going on, and it took me too long to get to my spot, and I only had like an hour and a half or so of shooting light, and I'm racing to get to my spot. I didn't slow down or anything. I went straight there. And the first thing I did when I got my sticks off is I clanked them when I pulled my stick off, and I'm close to the deer, and you're like, oh, geez, now maybe it made absolutely no difference, and it probably didn't. But those are the types of things I'm trying to avoid. And I went and did it because of that pushing too hard, too fast kind of thing. And even at, an hour and a half or an hour and 45 minutes left, still usually the deer come through the last hour, and if I would have just taken that time to settle down, I probably wouldn't have done that.